when I was young, I started getting taught boxing by my uncles. They'd just show me odd bits on the bags and get me to do things like press ups and a bit of running, and they'd like hold my feet while they press up, sit up, sorry, and like have little spars with me and stuff. And then as I got older, my mum, because it's in my heritage a lot, my grandma's side, my grandma's dad or granddad was a famous bare knuckle boxer. Like, it's well known. I don't know his name, which is quite not very good, but around Yorkshire he was a famous bare knuckle boxer. So my mum took me down to the local, it's called Boys Club. It's a boxing centre, and I did some boxing there for about a year. I went not very much then. It was about once or twice. Twice a week I went, and that was when I was about 11 or 12. So I'd learnt some when I was young. Then I went there. I stopped that for a few months and I started boxing properly from 12 to 13, and that was at Coliseum Gymnasium. I was taught by Scott Eccles, who I told him about. And I learnt a lot of boxing then, and I had some amateur bouts. I learnt most of my style, my aggressive. I've got an aggressive style where I actually mainly plodding. Well, not plod, but I'll stand there and I'll learn to take the shots. Like, I've based my training around being conditioned and strong, so that's where I call it plodding, but it's not really, because I actually know what I'm doing. So I learnt my style there, because we used to do a thing called Fight Club, where we'd go into the corner of the ring and we'd have to stay. Everyone would line up and they'd all get 30 seconds basically to beat us up the best they could. So we'd have to stay there and we had to fight back the best we could in the corner, and we'd take it in turns. So that would teach us, to really learn how to block and keep our balance centred, so we weren't getting knocked back. And then we have to actually stand toe to toe, which is good for your reflexes and teaches you good lessons. And it also develops your chin quite well, which is very important, because you can strike as hard as you want, but if you can't take a shot, then you're going to be in trouble at you when somebody gets you. I continued with boxing until I was about 12 to 13. Then I had an injury running at school. My hip dislocated and ripped all my lower back muscles and all my hip muscles. So I had to take about 6 months in a wheelchair and 3 months into crutches. As soon as I got off my crutches, I started boxing again. From around just before I was 14 to about 14 and a half. Then I switched between mountain biking. I lost a little interest then because the club actually closed down. I didn't want to go to another club. So I switched between mountain biking and weightlifting until I was about 15. Then I took up karate, full-time Shotokan karate. I'm 18 and a half now. I did Shotokan karate till I was 16 religiously. I did 3 lessons 3 times a week. So I was doing beginners, the intermediate, and the advanced 3 times a week. So, and with weight training, and obviously my own bag work I used to do from boxing, which it proved a bit too much sometimes with school as well. I was getting a lot of burnouts, but you learn from that mistake. I still do it every now and again now. But I also forgot to mention that when I was 13, when I was boxing, I took up the Shotokan karate with my sensei and granddad Stuart Hicken, but I didn't have the interest that I had back then, because I was boxing, and with my boxing training it's quite different. If you want to be an amateur boxer compared to being a Shotokan karate fighter, I couldn't really put it together then. I didn't have the knowledge to put it together, which I do now, so I understand it a lot more. I was an amateur then, obviously, so yeah, I did it for about 3-4 months and got my first grade, and then I just drifted off then and only went once every now and again, obviously, and then the wheelchair happened after that. So 15 to 16 I did Shotokan karate. Just after 16 I did Thai boxing just after my 16th birthday I did Thai boxing for 6 months. I was about 16 and a half. After I actually broke, and then I was unlucky again, I broke my metatarsal really bad. I've had a lot of breaks, my hands have been broken loads of times. Mountain biking I broke my arm twice in 2 weeks. But you get used to that doing the martial arts. But did Thai boxing. Just before I was due a fight in Thai boxing, because I was actually going to be fighting a 27-year-old, because I was quite strong. Broke my metatarsal, trying to condition my legs kicking a sandbag, but it turns out I had stones in it. So I snapped the metatarsal in half and kept training with it and didn't realise it would go away the ache. So I took about 2 or 3 weeks out of training, then I just did boxing training until I was about 7, so I just trained myself then. I was running about, which caused me quite bad issues when I stopped. I was running about 10 miles a day and doing a few hundred press-ups, just building up that endurance, and my arms, I just felt like I wasn't happy, because I actually suffer with obsessive compulsive disorder. So when I train I have to cover everything, so I was doing uppercuts with weights, because I didn't have the equipment and I didn't have the sparring partners, so I was running and slipping while I was running, training myself. And I'd say that summer between 16 and after 17 was when I really came on. It was because I developed the mental strength that I've got now. Because before that I could be shaken when I was sparring, but the long running I think was good. I don't agree with long distance running for training. It's good every now and again, but I think it developed my mental strength to carry on when I'm, when I've got nothing left, and it's given me a good stick. Because I think it's not very good for building strength in your legs if you don't eat correctly. But running, I think it builds a good core strength into your legs. Not necessarily for lifting weights, but my legs are very strong now. Like people can't sweep me and stuff, and I think I put it down to a lot of running. And my punches really powerful. All my press ups that I've done, because like that's my favourite exercise. I can do press ups on one arm and clap on my chest. I can do triple clap press ups where I clap behind my back and clap in front, land. I can do planche press ups, which I've recently learned, which is quite hard because I'm nearly 14 stone now. And I've got long legs, but I just tried it out. It's mainly lower back strength and stability, which is like quite alien to people who do martial arts, but I've learned to do planches now and stuff like that. My next step is to be able to do planche clapping press ups. I think things like that, exercises like that work your stabilising muscles and your balance are really important for things like with me doing Kokushin now. I'll get to like obviously the rest of the history, but I think that's important because you need to be able to stabilise yourself. If someone tries to sweep your leg and you've got no balance, you're going to fall over and you've lost. Whereas if I've got my balance and the stabilising muscles, well, my body will support, and if they hit me, I'm not going to get hurt because all the muscles, it's armour. And you're training your brain just as important as training your body. Because I could have the biggest punch in the world, if I can't get it on target, I'm not going to be able to beat anybody, am I? Or the biggest kick. You need to be able to train your brain. That's why. But yes, so until I was 17 basically, I trained myself. And then we had quite a big MMA influence at our gym. And my uncle's done karate since he was young, kickboxing, and then did a lot of MMA training himself, and then became our MMA instructor. He was very good. And I did MMA at the club for a while. I liked MMA, but I found it was more of a wrestling thing. Like you can do MMA and only be a wrestler, and you're probably the world champion. If you could only do striking and you did MMA, you wouldn't have a chance because they'd get you down if you didn't know about grappling. So I enjoy striking more. Because, like, no offence to like mixed martial arts, but I think if you're on the floor in a real life situation, like in a fight, if you're on the floor, it's a very dangerous place. If they've got a friend, they could stamp on you or anything on the floor. On the floor is not where you want to be. That's where MMA usually ends up. Like whereas I did judo while I was doing MMA, I was doing karate twice a week, Shotokan karate. So I was doing 2 hours of Shotokan karate. I was doing 2 hours. Oh no, the MMA classes were an hour and a half. So I was doing 3 hours of MMA. And up to the Shotokan karate classes, I was doing judo, and I was doing one bodyweight, like calisthenics session on my own a week, and I was doing one where I practice my moves and do a few occasional weights a week. So I was doing a few sessions, and that was till I was about 17, and it's all a bit faded, because 17 and a half, just past that, and then I got quite good at that. And that's what I said to you earlier, but not onto the camera, that I actually did like boxing as well. Like I've been doing boxing all the way through. I go through my spurts where I do boxing, but it's mainly always been in the club. That's why I'm glad to have the opportunity to go to Japan. Because I've always been, isolated. I don't like being the big fish in a little pond because there's no challenge in there. And like I was saying as well, like a lot of people, like victories, I think they'll actually defeat them because they'll think they're the best and they'll stop training as hard and they won't have that snap that they used to have, or they won't have that edge that they used to have. Someone comes along and does have it, and they don't stand a chance because there's training hard and there's training at the next level. Training to where you really physically can't do anymore. Like, that's what I do every time. That's why I keep getting burnouts. I'll try and do it every day, but as I'm learning, it's better to train 3 times per week, really good, or even twice. Sometimes I've learned recently, than it is to train every day and to run yourself down and do it rubbish and not to your best ability. Because to say if I've rested for a few days, I can lift more weight. Or not weightlifting in what I do, but I'm just saying this as an example, or I can skip faster, and then that'll actually be skipping faster, so I'll be increasing my maximum, rather than if I was tired, I'd just be increasing my level of being able to continue doing the same thing. So I'd like to increase my ability rather than make my ability that I already have last longer. It's because the fighter's going to win. Because my idea is that I wouldn't really, if I'm fighting, I don't think it should last very long. I think I failed, like even in a boxing ring, I would not, my personal style, if I didn't beat them in the first round, I would think in my head that I've lost, because a fight shouldn't be supposed to last that long. And even though it's a sport, not because I'm impatient or because I'm like it's brutality, because it isn't. It's to win in the first round, you've got to have good technique. You can't just go like that and throw your arms around. I like to use the proper technique because I use a lot, even in my Kokushin, a lot of people that spar with me, I bob and weave. An idol that I've got for that, I like bob and weaving and punching over, which has worked very well for me, even in Kokushin. Mike Tyson, I copied that off. Cyril Raphael, have you heard of him before? Have you heard of him before?
I'm not
Oh, sorry. Parkour, just parkour and Shotokan karate. I used him a lot so I just thought, I liked how he was supple with his legs, it was direct. Because I'm not a fan of people who use the legs and all wafty, like semi-contact karate fighters, like they're good at what they do, but I don't like the way they kick, because if they kick me with that, it's on the face, taps me, or give me a little, like, you know, slap or like a little snap, it's not going to be effective. Because I like to think the thing I'm doing is effective for real combat. If I have to self-defense, it's very important, especially in this day and age. And I like to think that I could use my skills in another sport. I like to think that if I did Muay Thai, I'd be able to box with a boxer, or I'd be able to kick with a Taekwondo kicker. I like to be flexible with my skills. When Keith Priestley, I said about Keith Priestley, when he came to like meet us, he came and tested us and brought his team, like, you know, that I named, and that went well. And then from there, he said everyone who wants in the team, he was at the dojo picking people out, saying I want to test you out for the team, stuff like that. We started up a club called Fight Club where we tested people first and we trained them and got them ready. But he said for me, definitely you. And then he brought his people after that, and that went well for me. And the good fighters, you get what I mean. So I think he was impressed with me then as well. So I managed to knock down the one who got a bronze medal. And nearly knocked him down twice, but the round got stopped that time. And I'd never done Kokushin before, so that's what I mean. I actually don't spar very much, which used to bother me, but I found ways around that, like my reflex training, you know, that I've told you about, like where I actually imitate it, and self-conditioning and things like that. Because you can do it with more precision. But the sparring round is very inaccurate. I mean, if I had a good sparring partner, I would, but a lot of people that spar would get injured if I actually try. And if I'm not trying, there's no point in sparring, because then I'm learning bad habits. If I go into a real fight, or like it's actually happened when I've been teaching some of my students, like there's some over there, I'll actually go really late on them by accident, even when I'm meaning to get them sometimes, you know, to get to teach them, because they need to learn to be hit, or they need to learn things. I'll see myself doing these bad habits I've picked up because of them, even when I'm training. So that's why I try and avoid sparring with people who are not worse. Well, yeah, everyone's good, but you know, not as skilled as me in like that kind of direct fighting. So I've been training for the past 6 months. I've been training probably too hard for Japan, really hard. Basing it on mainly getting my legs to be able to kick high. I've done a lot of work on things like spin hook kicks, and you know, getting my front kicks high and sturdy, because kicking was never really, with me doing so much boxing, I could use my legs but not very well. Then with Muay Thai, I got my low points good. I wasn't very good at executing them on people, so I looked at my technique, and I've realised, and I've figured out how to do it. Like, you know, and you can punch, and as you do a right hand, you can. A lot of the time, I catch a lot of people with this. Like when I'm showing my students or people, if you punch with the right hand, your right leg can flow straight over, and it always catches them because they're looking there. You hit them, bang, bang. It's already there. You've got them. And most of the time, I shouldn't be saying this actually. I'm giving my tactics away. Most of the time, dead leg for people, or if I throw a dummy, they always look up there, and I can do a low point. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to kick it. I can do a low point, sorry about that, into the inside of the leg, you know, the inside leg kick. And that always sets them up. If I do a few of them, they're going to start thinking that I kick on the inside then, and I can always do a lead leg, roundhouse into the head then. If you're kicking them in the leg there, it's a split second between deciding I'm going to kick them there, because you bring your leg to there, it only takes a flick. If that's my leg there coming round, it only takes a little flick and I can get him in the head. That's another trick that I do. Low points to the inside of the leg, then when they think that's going to come, give them one in the head. And a lead leg roundhouse to the head is a perfect setup for a spinning hook kick. And the spinning hook kick is perfect to set up for a reverse punch. So they all flow together. Things like that. I've been working on techniques like that I weren't very good at. Because of my boxing, I used to be just like that, you know, and I'd look for my target. Because when I trained myself, I took like role models like Muhammad Ali, you know, the way he moved. But like I've changed, like before, I used to plod more, like Rocky Marciano kind of fighting, but I actually put my guard up. You know, so I've gone from different kind of styles that like, I used to be taught, because that's what I was model on at first. That's what they used to say things like that to me, you know, my instructor, which was Scott Eccles. I wasn't going to mention, but he passed away, which was quite sad, which has inspired me to actually, after Japan, I just remember this as well, I actually want to do a boxing fight in his honour, you know, because I've kept my boxing skills up, because I think they're very useful for like my Kokushin. They're very useful for karate as well, because they're a weak point in hooks. Like I love the outside hook, you know, where you bring your arm round and you turn your body, snap the punching, things like that. They're really useful. Always catch. like most fighters out that do martial arts, because they don't have a way to defend that. Like Bruce Lee said about Wing Chun, the way that moves straight forward, but if they throw a hook at you, they're going to knock you straight out because your arms are there. So things like that. It catches so many karate fighters out, and even a lot of boxers, because since I do karate, I execute it from a different angle that they don't expect. So that's proved very useful for me, and I'm pretty reliant on my punches to get my kicks in, to set that up. So yeah, I've been training hard for that, and I've been teaching the team. I've been teaching for a year properly. I've been teaching for about a year and a half properly, because I did a martial arts apprenticeship through a local company. So so that was like my education instead of going to college, which was quite hard because we didn't have a lot of hours at the dojo, and you don't get very good funding for like apprenticeships. You don't get any funding like you would going to college, which I think is a bit silly really, but that's been a hard time. And then after the apprenticeships ended, it was tough because obviously there's not a lot of money in what I do it mainly just to help, but so yeah, I've got to love it to do it to help. So sometimes it's hard work, but it's really good when you get not that I don't love teaching every student, but when you get the students that really listen, not the ones that are good, the ones that listen, because they're the good ones. Like we have one student who was like, I've listened a few times, they'll come to it really small and weak, or they'll be really weak, or they're really unconfident, but they listen. The cocky ones, they're good at first, they'd probably win at first if they had to do a sparring match or something, or in most tasks probably. But the ones that stuck at it for over a year, the confident ones are always better than the confident ones. Because the confident ones don't develop, they're already at their peak, they've got nothing, they're already a full cup of the self, they're already full of the self, do you get what I mean? When people are full of self, the cup's full. The people who aren't confident, you give them new knowledge and you can rebuild them, not in a bad way, but give them that core to work from. Like I've seen so many kids get so much confidence. Like I got bullied really bad, which is quite like a ridiculous thing to think about. When I was younger, I've had teeth kicked out from the side. Like people just attacking me in groups for no reason, like which inspired me to really train harder, and which is why I've got a lot of real life experience with it. I did get bullied a lot. That's why I know, like, which has been quite useful. A lot of people have picked on me in my life. I don't know why, but I think some people just do, don't they? So they don't do it anymore. They've learned the lesson, which is not very good for me because I don't like to actually have to hurt people, and you can get into trouble for defending yourself these days, which can happen very easily. But yeah. The teaching, but I just enjoy it. I just think of some reasons. It's good when you see, it sounds cheesy, but it's good when you see them smile when they enjoy it. I like making sure the lessons are fun. You've got to keep the right balance between fun and educational. As you'll see some places, they'll just have them running around playing games and they'll do about 10 punches the whole lesson and they won't learn anything. In some places, they're too strict. They'll have them stood there all the lesson doing endless punches and kicks, and then the kids will probably be, the one kid they have will be really good, and then they won't have the right attitude. They'll lose interest after a year. So I try and warm them up. I'll give them a stretch off to warm them up. I'll make them do hard work. I'll make them do some hard work while they're fresh. To do good, I'll give them a game. Like I've invented something called a running game where they'll start at both sides. Like they'll start at one side, I've got to try and run to the other side. I'll either catch them or I'll let somebody else to catch them. It's a game, but it's also teaching them reflexes and footwork, and it's fitness. And I can add things to it, like it will play the game if you do this or you do that, and it motivates them to do well. But they run to the other side, then when they're caught, they have to go over there and they have to hold the press position or jog on the spot to increase the fitness. So they're getting fitness out of it basically. It's the fitness aspect, but make it fun. And they're having to watch and be aware, because I tell them if they knock anybody over, because that's the danger aspect of it, they're out, so they're always paying attention to the surroundings. So it's reflexes, it's peripheral vision, teaching. You can learn to hear people around them, because when you're attacked in the street, you're not always going to see somebody, but you can hear like someone move like that. Like if someone's walking near me, I'll know where they are. Like I don't know if that's from personal life experiences or if I'm just naturally good. Like people speaking in the dojo. Someone said the other day that I was a freak because I was in the office and somebody whispered my name the other side of the dojo. We're talking a good 12 metres away. But it was through a door and they were whispering, and I came out and said, "Did I say my name?" And they were really shocked. But I think, like, even when I'm fighting, I think hearing things sometimes can help. Because if I was close to my opponent and he was going to try and kick me, I could maybe hear his gi move. Or you can hear a punch coming. You can actually hear things sometimes and manage to stop that, which is good. So yeah, the fighting in Japan, it'll be like a pyramid style tournament. That's what it is, the competition. And originally, I think I was going to fight in full contact karate, where it's if you're familiar with Muay Thai, basically it's like Muay Thai, but you're not allowed to run away. You've got to stand toe to toe. There's no smothering either. You're not allowed to go too close to the cat for a shot. So you've basically got to stand in their line of fire, and you've got to either knock them down or knock them out to win. No head punches, head elbows or back fists. You can't strike with the arms to the head. You can knee him in the head or kick him in the head. But this puts more emphasis on body conditioning because you're constantly getting punched in the body. Because if it was punches to the head, it would be over faster. So you're taking more punishment for all the kicks, everything you're going to take. You've got to learn to block good. It doesn't teach you good habits for if you start doing head sparring again. I did get caught out a bit ago because I just totally forgot and got punched, which is, well, I didn't, but I only just got away. I saw it rather than predicting it, I just forgot about it and I had to think fast when I was just teaching, because I taught them all a bit of boxing, taught them the punches for the cockashin, that's very important. Yeah, so we'll all start, it's weight categories, and so there'll be probably about 20 pyramids, different weight categories. There's females like under 50 kilogram, under 60, under 70, under 80, and then over 80. I'm in the highest weight category, but I'm the lowest weight I can be basically in the highest category, and I'm the youngest age as well, which is quite unfortunate. Well, it's not unfortunate because I like a challenge, but I'm sure that'll make the difficulty a little harder for me. And yeah, so obviously if you win your first fight, you go through to the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. I'm guessing I'll probably have to do about 10 fights to if I was going to win gold. And if I win gold, hopefully that will secure me a place in the Rio Olympics. Because the karate has actually been, I think, it's been confirmed to be in the Rio Olympics. I'm not sure, but as I said earlier as well about, I thought it was going to be full contact. It's actually been changed to actually have a point system in it as well. Yeah, the point system's been made, so I'll explain it as well, to calm it down a bit for the Olympics, because I think the idea is people want to watch people getting bludgeoned and knocked out. There's quite a lot of blood included in traditional cockashin or broken fingers and toes, which they'll be a little bit more avoided if rather than it coming toe to toe and hammering. If they can get clean techniques onto the body or the head, they'll win. You only need 2, which is a disappointment to me because I've been training totally thinking it was going to be toe to toe and I'd be receiving punches, so I've got into the mindset of not minding taking punches, which is bad when you're trying to dodge them. So now I have to change my complete mindset for the whole tournament now. I was making myself solid, using my balance board, keeping them centred. Like when I was doing my stances, keeping them centred, always punching them centred, rather than leaning forwards or on the back foot. So I don't like to be forward balls anyway. And you're off balance to be taken down, and if you're leaning back, you're easily knocked over or chased. But I've centred myself, which is a hard place to move from. Be centred. It's the strongest stance, but it's the hardest to move from being centred. Your weight in the middle of yourself. So yeah, so they've changed it to points as well. Or the basic rule out is you can either knock them on the floor and then you have to go over and pretend to punch. We don't punch when they're on the floor because you've already defeated them. Or you knock them out. Or you get 2 clean techniques either to the body or clean techniques to the head. That would be a front kick that would bounce me back, that wouldn't hurt me, but would make me go boom. And they've got that, and I ain't defended it, right? Like that. Or if they kick me in the head and I push my face away because it was a good technique, and then if they did that twice, they'd win. And if they got one on the body and one on the head, they'd win. Whereas if they kicked me like that and it didn't bother me, they wouldn't get anything for it. Another way you can win as well is, say if they were to hit me and I went but it was alright, if they did that twice, they'd win. You've basically got to be the first one, apart from the point system, to make your opponent be knocked out, be knocked down, or show weakness. Kind of a good instructor is somebody who, not all the time, because if an instructor's a role, I wouldn't expect it. I like people to be able to walk the talk. If they're actually demonstrating the moves as well, it's a good sign. Another good sign is Shotokan. If we're talking about Shotokan, if it's in any way wafty and arms around or high stances, it's no good, because that's not Shotokan. Low stances is Shotokan, and powerful moves, snapping every single move, snap. That snap. I'm obviously not doing it now, but I mean you've got to have that snap. Every move is a snap. Do you get what I mean? But some instructors who don't know what they're doing will just have you walking backwards and forwards. Traditional Shotokan is like that, but I mean, until you're a black belt, that's all you should do, because you're learning the moves. I mean, if you see the higher grades just doing that, you should be doing, there's a lot of, you step to the side, punch the body, Shotokan, sparring techniques, Agio key, drop down, punch to the body, things like that. So yeah, that's a good thing to look for. But if it's traditional Shotokan, it will move in straight lines, in straight motions. So that's pretty much what I can say about it. Loud key eyes, low stances, powerful, and if it looks powerful and you get in the snap, they're doing it right. Yeah, good focus as well. Focus is the most important, because if you have no focus, you won't hit your target anyway. Yeah. Because if you taught focus to somebody who didn't know how to fight, because you can fight naturally, every human can do that. You know, like, it's just a natural thing to defend yourself, every animal can. If you get a normal person, like high focus, and then you had a trained fighter who had no focus, a normal person with focus will win. Because it is all about the focus and getting your shot in there. And you need the focus to dodge. You know, if you're paying attention to it, how could it hit you if you don't want it to? Then it just comes down, if you've got focus, it comes down to athleticism then. If it comes down to like focus and skill, if you're both level on that, then it comes down to your fitness, and that's why I have a good fitness regimen. I don't want that to let me down. That's the last line of defence then. If you can't beat them with skill, if you can't outdo them with skill, and you can't outdo them with focus, fitness is the most important. That's why focus is very important in Shotokan karate. You'll always see them focusing. You've always got to be imagining, focusing on your target. You always have an imaginary target. I've had a lot of imaginary targets. Every time I punch, I actually imagine I'm punching through a piece of wood. That's the idea you've got to have and things like that.